started? You ready to roll?
What's that?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Once you had an opportunity to go back and look at the tape from Oklahoma game, what stuck out to you as like the areas you most needed to focus on in practice this week?
Just competing, honestly. Obviously, that was that game was tough. Obviously, it's early, and that's a blessing. It was game 2, but at the same time, all of us, we weren't on the same page. We were prepared. We had 2 great practices going into that. Our players felt good. Everybody felt good. No one really saw that game going that way, even though Oklahoma's a great team. But I think our players were hurt by that. I think we were already gotten better in practice, but we just weren't on one accord. Sometimes we had one person competing, sometimes we had 2, 3, but we never had all 5 people coming together on the court and even on the bench and just, our synergy was a little bit off and just being together and competing against Oklahoma. So it was an early test, and we knew we got exposed in certain areas. But like I said, I'm not discouraged because it was early. We got exposed, and you can always learn from those things. But I'm encouraged because I feel like we've already gotten better since then. So, the way that we performed, I explained that to the players and everybody on the team. It was not indicative of who we are and who we're going to be this season. This is not going to decide our season, but it's not us because that we didn't compete, and essentially quit on the court, and that is never going to happen again.
I know transition defense is a point of emphasis in general. Is that an area that you can be and will be better in, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, going into the game, that was one of the biggest keys, given how they played us last year. And it was a big key for them. And they executed their game plan, and we didn't. So transition D, we've worked on quite a bit the last couple of days. I think we've already gotten better at it, but it definitely is a point of emphasis. And defense overall. I mean, even, the American game was kind of a false sense of reality for us, which I knew that, no offense to American, but, we scored a lot of points. We looked good, things like that. But I even told the players we gave up too many points. We gave up 68 points. And that's going to come to bite us, and it did. So you get a top 10 team, and now we give up 95 points. So I think, eyes are open now. We understand the urgency. We understand that we have to have carryover from practice. And at the end of the day, like, credit to Oklahoma and Jenny. I've known Jenny for years, and she's a great coach. And that's a seasoned team. They have a lot of seniors, a lot of fifth years. Last year, they lost to some mid-majors. They had some bad losses, then they went and won the Big 12. So things happen in the early parts of the season that you can overcome. And then they returned all 5 starters, majority of their offense, and then added an All-American on top of that in the middle who just makes it difficult for you. He's a phenomenal player in Beers. So that's a great team, legitimately top 10. But we're a great team, too. We just haven't really – it hasn't clicked. It hasn't all come together. And I think playing a team like that early is only going to help us.
You mentioned Reagan Beers there. What can you learn about how to approach an opponent that has such a force on the inside, and you're going to face players like that in the ACC? What can you learn from the game like that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be very disciplined. You got to execute the scouting report. That is the main thing. If you're half a second late on rotations, they're going to make you pay. So they have shooters, even though they didn't shoot it great that game from the 3, but they have shooters. They know each other. They play off each other really well. But then those shooters make you extend the defense a little bit, and she requires a double team. And so, we just weren't clicking. So when we did rotate and double her and she missed her shot, then we missed the second rotation off of that. So we learned a lot from it. We watched the film. We've got after it in practice, and like I said, I really think that we've already gotten better. So that game is going to propel us to new heights this year.
Talk a little bit about depth at point guard. You're still missing Yonta Vaughn. First, do you have an update on when we might see her back? And then how important does that make it for Mo to stay on the floor, avoid foul trouble, things like that, when point guard options other than Mo are limited right now?
Yeah, I thought, when Mo got her second foul, that's when the game kind of got away from us a little bit. Mo knows she has to be more disciplined than that. She took ownership of that, of course. And we just had to have other people step up. Parrish tried. It was kind of crazy because I was about to sub Paris out because she was a little gassed, and then Mo picked up her second foul. And so Paris had to just find her second wind out there. But she tried. It's not her natural position, but she's doing as much as she can. But, I expect Yanta to be back hopefully next game if all goes well, and that's going to help us just be a little bit deeper in the point guard spot. Also help us move Mo to the 2 sometimes because she's also a great scorer. And we can just kind of play how we were playing a little bit before Yanta, suffered the concussion.
You talked about you like how the fact that the team has responded well over the last couple of days from the loss, but specifically from the game, was there any positive things that you like that you're kind of hoping to build off of going forward?
From the Oklahoma game?
Yes.
No. Just to be quite honest, there was not a lot of positives there. That was just not a great game for us. Those things happen. The blessing is it happened game 2. And I've seen a lot of positives since. I've seen a lot of positive with leadership. I've seen a lot of positives with what we're doing on the court, growing together, handling adversity. Because you got to create a lot of adversity. As a head coach, you got to create the adversity and practice the pressure and practice so that when we feel it in a game, we don't respond the way we did in the Oklahoma game. So I've seen a lot of positives since the game, but in that game, personally, I don't think I've slept since we played that game. So I'm just ready to play somebody else.
Speaking of playing someone else, what sticks out to you about Radford?
Yeah, Radford, that's a team that they kind of run, not similar style, but they run some 5-out. They run some 4-out one in, which is what we saw at Oklahoma. Not the same system, but they put you in positions where you need to be disciplined defensively. They also like to play fast. We play fast. I think we showcased that at the American game, but we got to be able to play fast on both ends. So if we're going to play fast, we need to make sure transition D doesn't get thrown to the side as well. So that's going to be another great test, transition defense against Radford and just understanding personnel.
I know you wondered a little bit with Brianna coming into college because she hadn't played like in an elite AAU program, how she would handle the step up in competition. It's only 2 games in, but it does not look from the outside like the moment has been too big for her. What are your thoughts on like her progress to this point?
Yeah, Bree is going to have a phenomenal career here. As a freshman to come in and, or first year to come in and play with the pace that she's playing with, that's usually a shocker because we like to play fast and it takes a second to get adjusted, but she's adjusted to that. She's physical when she needs to be. She's kind of a stat stuffer, all over the place. So I'm really pleased with what she's doing. Of course, there's things that she can improve on. It's still early, but I really like what she's doing, and I think she brings size, too. She's a big guard, but that can also play the 4. And actually, when we recruited her, we thought she was going to be a 4, right? And then she got here, and we're like, wow, because we've seen her play, but it was not against elite talent. So when she got here and she's handling the ball the way she is and moving on defense and things like that, we're like, well, the kid's really a guard, and that just makes her even more versatile and more beneficial for us in the positions that we can put her in on the court.
Good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Coach.
Thank you.